You know, I'd be the first one to advocate buying for passion, or buying what you love, or buying that stirs your loins. But at what point does value override passion? Suzuki GSXS GT, 1000cc, quite aggressive, cool looks. Took me a while to get used to the mirrors being out that far. Space for a passenger. As I said, it comes with 3 panniers. I'll start it up in a minute and you can hear that it doesn't sound that bad. It's got a nice LCD screen. It's got cruise control. I don't know if heated grips are an option. But £12,700, 0% finance, 7 years warranty. The motorbike industry preys on pretentious pricks like me who will buy Ducatis and BMWs and go, and my 2 bikes are arguably not the best in their class by any stretch of the imagination, but I will pay a premium for them. But then there's bikes like this that do all the things I need a bike to do at such significantly better value. It has to make you think. Now, Suzuki don't make the bikes they used to, like the TL1000 or the original SV was a cracking bike, or the K1, K2 GSXRs, stunning bikes. Suzuki make beige bikes now, but beige bikes that are good. Busiest fucking road in South Gloss. Fuck me. But they make bikes that represent value. If this was your only transport, this is a lot of bike. You could cross continents on this bike just as well as all of the high-end competition in probably the same amount of comfort. Now, for me, from a riding position, and I can show you in a moment, I found the legs were a little bit cramped, and I've got tiny little legs, so if you're a giant, that might be an issue for you. But that's it. I don't normally do this, but this bike represents such a good proposition. I thought I'd go onto MCN and have a look what they say about it. The best Suzuki for years, effortlessly quick, comfy and exciting, and a hell of a sports tourer for the money. The Multistrada's a sports tourer. The new GS is a sports tourer. The XR's a sports tourer. Oh. Do I only know about BMWs and Ducatis? Anyway, lots of sports tourers. I don't know many of them that come with all the things that this come with. It's 150 brake horsepower, which is more than enough. Seat height is 810mm, and it weighs 226 kilos. And they give it an overall score of 5 out of 5. It's a staggering bit of kit. It's staggeringly good value. It has to be considered. It has to be considered because it would be simply impossible to lose your ass on this in any meaningful manner. One touch start. Now that's the stock pipe. That sounds okay. Now, I filmed this review in a slightly different way because when I got to the dealership, the transmitter on my microphone had died out of battery. So I thought I'd talk about it a little more while I'm here. But it really is a good bike. Would I buy one? I mean, I certainly wouldn't swap any of my bikes for them, but it does offer a proposition at a price point and service conditions I've not seen anything else. I like the fact the exhaust isn't hanging off the rear peg, so you can put a seat cowl on Take off the rear pegs, clean the back end up, and you're away. All in all, this is a very, very good bike. I wish I had it for longer. And I do think the front of that is quite purposeful. And with that, let's take it back to the dealership. Well, just back from the ride on the Suzuki. Now, before I sum up, if you could hit subscribe, that would be really appreciated. Anyway, it's not a sexy bike. It's not a particularly interesting bike, but it is a very, very good bike. If you can find a bike available today, brand new, with what that can do, and everything it comes with, for that price, and it's better than that one, put it down in the comments. Now, of course, for £12,500, that bike is full of compromises, but its value cannot be beaten. So before we get into the Ross Ride score for the Suzuki I took out today, just a little bit of housekeeping. As you can see, the BMW M1000XR, I've deducted some points off that for practicality, as you can fit a top box in it, and I had originally thought you could put the panniers on, but you can't. So that has gone from top spot down to a fourth spot. Still a very, very respectable score, which puts the MT-09 SP into first place. Right, now on to the Suzuki GSXS1000GT. I've put this down as a 2024, even though I rode a 2022. It's still the current model and it hasn't changed. So, for a weekend score, styling, I've given it a 6. It's handsome, it's purposeful, it's relatively modern. The back end leads a little bit to desire, but the front is very cutting edge. Acceleration, I've given it an 8. That is a 3.1 to 60, which is a very, very good score. Handling, I give it an 8 as well. It's sharp, it's purposeful. It's not cutting edge, but it certainly inspires a lot of confidence. Surprisingly, not as much torque as I would have thought, only 78 Newton meters. So that gives it a 4, but I guess it's a high revving 4-cylinder engine, so not relying on torque. And cool, it's a 6. For those that will love it, you'll love it. For those that don't, it will just be a bike, which gives it a weekend score of 32. For the daily score, features, I give it a 7. It has pretty much everything. Heated grips are a factory, not a non-factory optional extra. It has cruise control. It doesn't have radar. It's okay. So I think a 7 is fair. A 6 for a comfort. I found it a little bit cramped, but overall the riding position was very good for me. But if you're taller than 5'8", 5'9", you might find it a little bit uncomfortable. Miles to gallon is a little bit disappointing at 43, which gives it a 5. Practicality, it comes as an 8. You can get all the boxes you need, and it's a super comfortable sports tourer, so I think that's relatively practical. And the cost is a 4 at only £12,700, giving it a total daily score of 30 and a total Ross Ride score of 62, which is interesting because it puts it comparable to the Ducati Supersport and just a little bit behind the BMW R1250 RT. And with that, if you could hit subscribe, that'd be great. Cheers.